their honor roll student is dating a bad boy.
You have been abusive with her?
Yes.
She's pregnant.
It sickens me. She's kind of half his child, my grandchild.
He's controlling.
You couldn't leave her alone to be interviewed.
It's about us being together.
That's not about being together. You're afraid she can say something that'll hurt you.
And violent.
You locked her in a bedroom with kids scream for help.
You get mad and you throw her out of the car.
Do you believe he could kill you? You know, as parents, your child's graduation day is a big deal. All of their hard work and determination has led to that one moment when they walk across that stage, grab their diploma, dreams of the future swimming in their head. It was no different for Katrina and Ed's youngest daughter, Kirsten. She graduated high school with honors and was headed to nursing school. Little do these parents know, she'd never make it to her first day because they say Kirsten met a boy, actually a man, a very, very bad man, according to her parents. Today's episode will have you pulling your hair out and screaming at your TV and thanking your lucky stars that it isn't happening to you and your child.
John and I have been together for about 7 months. I'm 18 and John is 30 years old.
I don't really see any problem with our age difference.
I'm Kirsten's older sister. I dated John 4 years ago, and I actually broke up with him because he was way too controlling. When I first met John, I took Kirsten with me, and she immediately nicknamed him Creepy John and Crazy John.
When I met John, he said all the right things. I tried to be open-minded. My husband, Ed, did not like John at all.
Once I learned the age difference, I knew he was no good. I refused to talk to John.
After about a month of dating, John and I moved in together. I love him more than I've ever loved anybody.
Your parents are trying their best to keep us apart and to break us up.
If John thinks I'm trying to keep my daughter away from him, that's the one thing he's got right.
Well, Kirsten's dad has a very good reason to keep John away from his daughter.
John can be really abusive towards me.
When I get mad, I get a surge of rage that flows through my body. I can't control it.
One time, John got really mad and grabbed me by the throat. John has told me he was going to beat me the f up.
She grabbed me by my face. I retaliated by digging my elbow into her. She had a bruise afterwards, pretty bad bruise.
Recently, John has thrown me on the bed and covered my mouth and my nose, and I couldn't breathe. I fear that someday John will kill me.
Okay, guys, how did we get in this situation? Because you forbid her to see him.
The day I found out, I basically put her on lockdown. I didn't.
He forbid her to see him, but you went behind his back, let her use your phone to call him, and you enabled her to re-engage in this relationship.
Yes.
Right before they left, she had her cell phone on her dresser. I looked down because it went off, and it was John's name on her phone. At the time, I didn't call her out on it because I wasn't sure. Well, when they left, I got on our account, and I looked up, and I saw that they were texting back and forth. I had my daughter's phone blocked from his, but my wife was letting her use her phone.
You knowingly put her back in touch with and relationship with an ex-convict that's on probation with violent and aggressive behavior, already has a baby with somebody else that he has no contact with. I mean,
I didn't know his aggressive side. I didn't know his whole background of his charges when I first met him. He charmed me. He only gave me one charge that he was arrested for. I just knew about the burglary. I thought he did his time. It was a couple years ago. Maybe he has changed. I didn't know.
Well, to complicate matters even more, Kirsten is now expecting this man's baby.
I am currently 3 months pregnant with John's baby. I'm very excited about having a baby. Our thought process was my family would come around and accept him because he would be the father of their grandchild.
As far as their father, brother, and sister, no, they've never been supportive.
My family has not come around.
It's absolutely ridiculous that Kirsten assumed that if she got pregnant, the whole family would just be accepting of John.
This is a parent's worst nightmare.
How do you feel about this part of the deal?
It sickens me that he's even been with my daughter, let alone that she's going to have his job. It's my grandchild. He's nowhere mature enough to... I mean, he's proven before he has a kid he can't see now. And now he's supposed to help raise my grandchild. And
This is a dangerous and violent man.
Yes.
He has spent almost his entire adult life in prison. He spent 10 years behind bars. He's 30.
that's the first time I've heard that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, well, we'll do the math for you. Now, Kirsten admits her 7-month relationship with John has been, to quote her, hell.
A few weeks ago, Kirsten and I got into an argument. She went to her parents' house, and she had a phone that I had given her. I was extremely mad, and I wanted my phone back.
John came over with his car and blocked our driveway. Started calling the house phone, my cell phone.
Call the cop. Get my phone. You want her away from me? You want us done? Give me my phone.
I felt scared. John was completely out of his mind. I called the police. The first thing when they came in, they said, "Are you aware that he's on state parole?" I said, "No." In hindsight, I should have had John arrested. Had I done that today, John would no longer be with my daughter. John would be behind bars where he belongs.
Well, ordinarily, I would have spoken with Kirsten alone or with her family, and then we would have added John to the conversation. But John refused. He said he did not want Kirsten to be out here by herself. He wanted to be with her the entire time. We're going to meet Kirsten and the boyfriend that her family desperately wants gone, plus a fight involving this whole family when we come back.
You get mad and you throw her out of the car?
You barricaded her in a bedroom and locked her in a bedroom, wouldn't let her out.
Are you a reasonable option?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil, she's lied about their father's death.
Well, guess who's on the phone? Steve Sr.
She's altered checks.
You added a 9 to the 50.
And
This makes me want to say, forget it.
If you want to get self-righteous and storm off of here, knock yourself out. I don't care.
she's got a real attitude.
You don't even know what it took to come here.
I've seen this act from you about 100 times.
Get out of my life.
That's tomorrow.
John controls everything that my daughter does. He reads all of her text messages, needs to know where she's at all times.
Is it possible to interview you and get started with someone who you? Is that possible to get some shots of her?
Together. That's the only way we're going to do it.
You guys want to be together the whole time? Okay.
They're going to now join us together. So, Kirsten, John, come on. The father here has never spoken to John. This will be a first time. Hello, John.
Hi.
How are you? Kirsten, how you doing?
All right.
Have a seat right here if you would. You two are in a relationship, correct? You're pregnant?
Correct.
How far along are you?
About 3 months.
About 3 months? Mm-hmm. And do you plan to get married?
Someday we hope to. We realize we have a lot of problems, problems that need fixed before we even think about marriage.
He's never going to be accepted. Get that through your head. Never.
So you had this baby on purpose?
I thought that it might help with the acceptance.
It's more of a fact of if they wanted to be around the baby, they would have to be around him. And that's something we've never all experienced at once.
Okay, well, that's what I'm trying to figure out what your thinking was. So the idea was to have a baby and hold it hostage unless they were willing to interact with John.
Yeah.
It's kind of.
Yeah.
Was there any other way to think of it?
I would have allowed them to see our baby.
You wouldn't even let your mom go to the appointments.
She was being secretive to him about my counseling session for no reason, and his choice was to tell her that she couldn't come to any more baby appointments. She was already at one ultrasound.
But he already knew you were going to counseling. He didn't need to know where it was or who the lady was, so he could follow us and stalk us. That was between me and you. I was getting you help. I was paying for that.
follow in stock when I work from 4 a.m. to 6 p.m. at night? How could I follow in stock?
Do you work every day, John?
Yeah, I was working that day.
How many hours do you work a day? Not every day you don't work 8 hours.
No, average I work
You have
about
off?
13.